In this problem, I'm first looking for my a, b, and c value. So a is always the number being multiplied by x squared. B is the number being multiplied by x. Here it's an invisible -1, and c is 15, the number that's not being multiplied. So my formula is here. And I'm going to plug in. The thing to be careful of, really common mistake, this is the opposite of b, right? You can say negative b, you can say the opposite of b, but if b is -1, what I'm plugging in here is +1, right? The opposite sign. And then I'm bringing down plus or minus the square root. Now I have b squared, so b is -1, that's squared, minus 4 times a times c. So a is -2, and c is 15. And then the bottom is 2a. So all I've done so far is figured out my a, b, and c values and plug them in the formula where they go. Now I'm going to simplify this, and the easiest way to do it is to deal with this kind of separate and then just kind of bring it back in once I've simplified that. So if I come over here to simplify this, -1 squared is -1 times -1. Negative times negative is positive, so that's 1. Here, the second most common mistake is getting the sign wrong on this. So pay attention to the signs. This is a negative times a negative. That's a positive. And then when I multiply it by this positive number, that's going to be positive. Okay, and then you can actually go ahead and do the math. So 4 times 2 is 8, times 15 is 120. And then I can add these two numbers together. And notice I'm keeping the square root sign on it the whole time, and the reason I write it every time is so I don't forget that it's there. And the square root of 121 is 11. You can put this in a calculator. If you're using the computer, you can type this in Google and it will give you the square root of 121. So all of this, everything inside this circle, is just equal to 11. So when I recopy this, I'm copying 1 plus or minus. I'm taking all of this and replacing it with 11. And then on the bottom, this is 2 times -2. Positive times negative is negative, and 2 times 2 is 4. So now I'm going to take this and I'm going to separate it out into two separate fractions. And the reason I'm separating it out into two separate fractions is that this symbol means that this could be a plus sign or it could also be a minus sign. So this is going to be 1 plus 11 over -4. It could also be 1 minus 11 over -4. And both of these are going to be possible answers. So here I get 1 plus 11 is 12. And 12 divided by -4, so this is positive divided by negative is negative. 12 divided by 4 is 3. So one of my answers is -3. Here, 1 minus 11 is -10. Right? It's negative because the 11 is larger than the 1. And then I'm bringing over -4. The first thing I notice here is I have a negative divided by a negative, so I'm just going to go ahead and rewrite it as positive. And then I also observe that it can be reduced, that both of these numbers can be divided by 2. So you can write your answer like this, 5 over 2. If you just went ahead and put -10 divided by -4 in your calculator, you would have gotten a decimal. That would have been fine too. And 5 divided by 2 or 10 divided by 4 is 2.5. Okay? And in this case, you can see this one's negative, so that one's going to be your smaller answer, and this one is positive, so it's going to for sure be larger than the negative answer.